Okay, it has been such an incredibly long and fulfilling day. So if you have had a very long day, if you are just settling in for the first time, that could be a confirmation that this message is for you. Angels, this feels like okay. This feels like a message for you. Okay, well, the good news is that you're coming to an Ace of Cups moment. And I don't have bad news, but I do have big news. This feels like big news. The energy that you're embodying feels like very big news. I feel like there's like a revamp of your energy going on, or like a rebrand. You could be in a period of rebranding yourself is what's coming through. We also have the Two of Pentacles. So you feel a little out of balance, like out of the normal routine is what's coming through. It doesn't feel like complete chaos, but it just feels as if you're trying to figure out what the new way forward is, what it is. And it feels like you had to give up a certain level of power in order to meet yourself in this place. It feels as if you had to either let go of like a layer of ego or just let go of control. I feel like you needed to let go of control with a specific situation because this Page of Wands, otherwise you're getting pulled back into this past energy that isn't actually good for you. That's what was happening here. I feel like if you've been feeling a little out of sorts, a little off balance, it's because you are still connected to this past energy that is not serving you anymore. It's not leading you anymore. It's not giving you a strong sense of direction or like the confidence that you deserve to move through this world with. And so you have the Judgment coming through. There is like outside unseen forces coming in and putting you upright again, basically kind of like guiding you into a much more secure position. The word secure is coming through. Security, financial security is coming through, but also just like your sense of self, like the way that you move through this world needed a little pick-me-up is what I'm being told in the Seven of Pentacles. Now here's where I want to be clear. Like it feels as if it does feel like a loss of control to you. It feels as if you kind of had to give something up. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm being shown is that you just had to give up how you thought it was going to go. You just had to, like, you don't have to give up the dream or the vision. You just have to give up control of how it comes to fruition. That you'll feel that in your heart if that's right for you. The Seven of Pentacles energy, again, is just like, it feels like the loss of something, but like the closing of one door and the opening of another, and that's confirmed with the Six of Wands energy. Yeah, this is like a brand new beginning. Emotional fulfillment is coming through with this, but the Queen of Pentacles, again, I almost wonder, I wonder if you've just been in a time period of like uncertainty surrounding your financial abundance, because we have this Queen of Pentacles energy, but we also have this Ace of Cups energy, but it just feels like it all ties together into that feeling as if you lost something, or feeling as if you were being pulled into the past energy. This Ace of Cups to me is just, okay, angels, can you clarify this Queen of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups? Wow. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles clarified with the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, your finances are directly tied to your creative expression and creative expansion. Basically, your willingness and ability to develop a skill and express and explore that skill. Like, get more creative is what's coming through. Allow yourself to expand more. Allow yourself to, like, there's no such thing as a bad idea right now is the words that are specifically coming through. And it also feels as if, like, it feels as if you are meant to co-create this next season of financial abundance for yourself. Not so much like find it, but it's more like unlock it, or it's not even that. It's like literally like make it, like bring it to life through you is what it feels like. But you're co-creating with the universe around you. And this Ace of Cups confirmed with the Six of Pentacles, this is leading to that financial like breakthrough, that give and receive energy. It's kind of like, oh, I used to always say this all the time. It was, what you give to the world, you get from the world. Like the energy you give to the universe is the energy you receive from the universe. That is such a powerful universal law. But this feels like good news. Even though it might not feel like it in the moment, it feels like things are moving in the direction of like, okay, you are going to be happy, provided for, and financially successful. If you want to know more intimate details about whatever is unfolding for you, I offer personal sessions. Simply comment book now or click the link in my bio. Dear soul, before you leave, don't let this moment become just another video you watched. If these words stirred something deep inside your heart, it's because they were meant to find you. Right now, close your eyes for a moment and speak these words with faith. I am chosen. I am deeply loved. I am not forgotten. God is working behind the scenes for me. My love is blessed. My future is secure. And my story is still being written by His hands. Say it again. This time, believe every word. Let these promises sink to the deepest places of your soul. Let them silence every lie that told you you weren't enough. Let them heal every wound that made you question your worth. And let them remind you that even when you cannot see God moving, He has never stopped working on your behalf. Carry this truth with you today, tomorrow, and every day after. Your waiting is not wasted. Your tears have not been ignored. Your prayers have been heard in heaven, and at the appointed time, what God has prepared for you will arrive in a way that leaves no doubt it was His hand. If this message gave you hope, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you love. Somewhere, someone is fighting a silent battle, wondering if God still sees them. Your share could be the very answer to the prayer they've been crying in secret. You may never know whose life changes because you chose to spread this message, but God does. And if the Holy Spirit places it on your heart to help us continue sharing these faith-filled messages around the world, you can support this ministry through a super thanks. Whether it's $5, $10, $20, or whatever God leads you to give, every gift becomes part of reaching another heart that needs hope, encouragement, and the reminder that heaven has not forgotten them. You are the answer to a question they didn't know they were asking. There is a specific moment that happens in a person's life, not often, maybe once or twice if they're lucky, where something arrives that doesn't fit into any existing category. Not a person they were looking for, not a relationship that followed the script they'd unconsciously written for themselves. Something else entirely. Something that walks in quietly, without announcement, and rearranges the furniture of everything they thought they wanted before they even have time to object. You are that something for this person. And the reason they haven't fully said it yet, the reason the words haven't come in the volume that matches what they feel, is not because the feeling is small. It's because it's enormous. It's because they are standing in front of something so much larger than what they expected that they don't quite know. They don't know yet how to hold it with their hands, let alone their words. So they hold it internally instead. Quietly, carefully. The way you carry something precious when you're not yet sure the path ahead is stable enough to move quickly. But the feeling is there. And it has always been there. It is growing in ways that are no longer entirely within their control. The mystery that keeps them coming back, most people, given enough time, become readable. You learn their patterns, their rhythms, the predictable ways they respond to joy and to difficulty, and the ordinary Tuesday afternoons that make up most of a life. And that predictability isn't bad. It's the foundation of trust, of comfort, of knowing someone deeply enough to love them well. But you haven't become predictable to this person. Not in the way that matters, not in the way that dulls the edges of fascination. There is something about you, some quality that exists just beyond the reach of complete understanding that keeps surprising them, not dramatically. Not in ways that create anxieties, anxiety, or uncertainty about who you are, but in small, continuous ways that keep their attention alive and their curiosity engaged. You say something unexpected. You respond to a situation differently than they anticipated. You reveal a layer of yourself that they didn't know was there, and they find themselves thinking, there's more here than I initially understood. There is so much more. They think about you at odd moments, and not in the obsessive, consuming way that signals something unhealthy, but in the way that means you've become woven into the fabric of their daily consciousness. You appear in the middle of tasks that have nothing to do with you. They'll be driving somewhere, or sitting in a meeting, or making a coffee in a meeting, 7 a.m, and a thought of you surfaces without invitation and stays long after it arrived. And in those moments, they find themselves wondering, genuinely, almost disbelievingly, is this person actually in my life? Do I actually get to love someone like this? The answer is yes. And they are beginning to understand just how extraordinary that yes really is. The dam and everything. Behind it here is the part that is easy to misread from the outside. This person is quiet, reserved in the specific way of someone who learned early that expressing too much too soon in the wrong direction costs something. They carry their emotional world carefully, not because they are cold or indifferent, but because they are cold or indifferent, but because lives inside them is large enough that releasing it without intention feels dangerous. Like opening a dam without checking what's downstream first. So they hold it. They contain it. They present a composed exterior while internally the feeling builds and builds and builds. But there are cracks forming now. Small ones appearing in the places where the pressure has become most concentrated. Moments where something slips through, a look held a beat too long, a word chosen with more care than the situation strictly required, a protectiveness that emerges before they can stop it. These are not mistakes. They are the dam doing what dams eventually do when the water behind them has nowhere else to go. The release is coming, not as a flood that overwhelms, but as a river finally finding its course. And when it does, when this person finally allows themselves to express even a portion of what they've been containing, you are going to understand the full weight of what has been quietly accumulating in your direction. Protection, as the purest language they know love, speaks differently through different people. For some, it's words, declarations, and affirmations, and the constant verbal reassurance that the feeling is real. For others, it's time, or touch, or the small domestic acts of care that add up to something enormous over years. For this person, love speaks most fluently through protection. Not the controlling kind, not the kind that limits or diminishes or confuses possession with care. The kind that says, I see what matters to you, and I will stand between it and anything that tries to harm it. The kind that is unafraid. That doesn't calculate whether speaking up is worth the cost, doesn't weigh the social risk of making their loyalty visible. They will stand up for you. They already do, in ways you may or may not be aware of. And there is something approaching, a specific situation, a moment where lines are drawn and sides are chosen, where that protectiveness will become unmistakably visible. And here is what makes that moment remarkable. You will stand up for them too, without hesitation, without needing to be asked. Because that's who you are in this connection. Not someone who waits to be protected, but someone who protects right back. Someone who, when the moment comes, looks at the person beside them and thinks, not on my watch. We handle this together. That moment is going to change something between you. It's going to make real and tangible something that has existed only as feeling up until now. When two people stand back to back in a difficult moment and come out the other side still standing, that's not just a story, they tell it later. That's a foundation being laid. Something that will hold weight for years. A ring that isn't about the finger it goes on. There is an image that surfaces when sitting with this person's long-term intentions toward you. Something colorful, unusual, deeply personal. A ring that doesn't look like anyone else's ring. Maybe inherited, maybe chosen with extraordinary care, maybe both. But whatever form it takes, the meaning behind it is unmistakable. It is a symbol, a declaration made in private before it becomes public. An internal commitment that says, you are mine in the way that matters most, and I want there to be something physical in the world that reflects that. But here is the nuance, and it matters. This person has a complicated relationship with the conventional architecture of commitment. The formal structures, the labels, the timelines, the socially scripted version of what serious love is supposed to look like, carry a particular weight for them that verges on suffocation. Not because they don't want to commit, but because they need commitment to feel like a choice made freely every single day, rather than an obligation locked in place by external expectation. And the profound thing, the thing that makes this connection different from anything they've experienced before, is that with you, the choosing feels easy, not effortless in the sense of requiring nothing, but natural, like breathing, like something. Their whole self moves forward without needing to be argued into it. They don't want to be free from you. They want to be free with you, to explore and adventure and build a life that feels chosen rather than assigned. And that distinction for them is everything. The realization that quietly changes everything. Here is the deep insight that lives at the center of this connection, the one that becomes clearer the longer you sit with it. You don't need them to say it more than you need them to mean it. There is a kind of love that is loud but hollow, full of declarations and grand gestures and constant reassurance that ultimately doesn't settle anything because the feeling beneath it isn't stable. And there is a kind of love that is quiet but immovable, the kind that you feel in your body before you can articulate it in words, the kind that calms something in you at a cellular level simply by existing. What you have with this person is the second kind, and you already know it. You feel what they feel, not because you've been told, not because the evidence is abundant and explicit, but because the connection between you operates at a frequency that bypasses ordinary communication entirely. You sense their warmth, their devotion, their private certainty about you. And that sensing soothes you in a way that hours of conversation sometimes cannot. This means you are not waiting for proof. You already have it in the feeling, in the peace that descends when you stop trying to rationalize the connection and simply allow yourself to be inside it. Love that arrives without being chased you. And I want you to hear this in the fullest sense. You will never have to chase this person's love. That might sound like a small thing. It isn't. For anyone who has spent time in relationships that required constant pursuit, constant maintenance, constant wondering whether the feeling was still there on the other side, the experience of love that simply arrives consistently and without drama is almost disorienting at first. You keep waiting for the catch. The moment where it becomes conditional or complicated or suddenly contingent on something you haven't done yet. That moment is not coming. This person loves you the way that feels natural to them, not because loving you is easy in the sense of requiring no vulnerability, but because loving you feels like the most honest expression of who they are. Like they were designed for it in some way they can't entirely explain. And over time, without pressure or ultimatum or any particular dramatic turning point, they will arrive at the quiet, unshakable conclusion that a life without you is simply not a life they're interested in living. That conclusion will come from them, freely, completely their own. How they see you, the whole truth, at the foundation of everything this person feels is a perception of you that doesn't waver and doesn't diminish. You are, in their eyes, something close to extraordinary. Not in the idealized, unrealistic way that collapses the moment reality introduces itself, but in the grounded, honest way that comes from actually knowing someone. From having seen you in ordinary moments and difficult ones and still arriving at the same conclusion every time. They see power in you. Creative, feminine, abundant power. The kind that generates rather than depletes. That gives without becoming empty. That exists in you so naturally that you probably underestimate it entirely. You are the only one who occupies this place in their life. There is no competition for it. There is no version of the future they're imagining where someone else stands in the position you currently hold. You are singular to them, a permanent fixture in the landscape of who they are and what they want. Trust this in the end, after all of the feeling and the complexity and the quiet enormity of what exists between you. The message is simple. It. Not blindly, not without awareness, but with the grounded confidence of someone who has felt this connection from the inside and knows the difference between something real and something constructed. You are not alone in this anymore. You were never supposed to be. Let the love in, all the way in. It is safe here. It has always been safe here. And this person, this quietly devoted, deeply feeling, protectively loyal person is not going anywhere. They are exactly where they intend to be.